Hey guys, are we recording? We're recording. How we doing? And welcome back to A Beautiful Ride with Sam, of course. This is video number 3 within 2 weeks, so I'm doing pretty good. Today we are back with why it's so important to know yourself, to know who you are. So when you say, who is Sam? I know exactly how I would want to describe myself, the characteristics that I hold. But yeah, before going into that, it's really good to get back into these videos. I really enjoy it. I really feel refreshed from coming out from it. I've been enjoying the new place. The room's looking a bit tidy now, so everything's sorted out a bit more now, a bit cleaner as you can see. Got the weights there. Actually been doing pretty good in the gym recently, which has been great as well. I've been lifting the heaviest weights I've ever lifted, so progress is good. And I'm talking to you, Sam, in the future here. The progress is going well, man, so keep it going. I've set my targets for Christmas and I want to achieve them, and just continue sustained growth. And I'm seeing changes in my body as well, which is nice. I mean, it's not like I'm focusing on, but I just one day was in the gym and just noticed, and I was like, oh, okay, that's good. So it's the best performance I've ever seen myself do in terms of weights, but also in terms of body as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, to the video. Why it's so important to know yourself. Ultimately, it links into being able to have a healthy relationship with yourself. Being your best friend, but also kind of being able to have a good relationship with your emotions as well. And particularly when it helps you two things. It helps you kind of when you're like, okay, I know what I value the most. I'm going to clearly state that. What I value the most and what I want within myself, that clearly sets an aim for you. You hold yourself to a standard, right? And so once you kind of create that aim, even if you don't actively try and pursue it, the fact that you have those goals, sometimes you automatically move them towards them anyway, right? And then second point, when you are in a really bad situation, when you're really low, and you have all the demons in your head and you have all of those thoughts that aren't really what you believe, but they will constantly get you down. You're going down the well, you're constantly undermining yourself, you're questioning yourself. Being able to go, no, I'm Sam, or no, I'm Jack or Sarah, and I know who I am. I know what defines me, and I know that in this case, it's not, I can't go down this path. E.g., if you start beating yourself up and go, oh, I don't know whether I'm worth it, or, am I a boring person, or do I not really have any good friends, or, or maybe I'm not capable of doing this. You're like, no, Sam is a confident person who believes in himself, and so we're not going to entertain these thoughts because we've been here time and time again, and it's tiring, and we can't be asked to be put up with this, and this is just not who I am. I have my way. It's kind of my way of living, and this is not it, and I'm not going to accept it. You almost just shut it off because you're going to go down to those same spirals you always do, and you go, no, Sam is a confident person, or Sam has that self-belief, and this is not me, this is not my character, this is just my worst instincts in a situation where I'm feeling low. We have obviously I've done many talks about that in past videos, and this is not representative of who I am, and so I'm not going to let it get me down too much. So yeah, during a dark time, kind of being able to really call on your character and have some clarity about actually who you are, because I think a lot of people won't ask themselves this question, who are you? Do you know? If I ask you now, hey, XYZ, do you know who you are? pause the video and take a think. Like, could you at least give me five characteristics? I mean, for me, like as examples, I'd say for me, Sam, I'm a person who is confident, who has self-belief, is ultimately like a very caring person. I really care and love, my family and friends around me. I put a lot of emphasis on my family and friends, and trying to be. That's another thing as well. I associate myself with being, an amazing best friend. I aim for that. I'm not sure whether I can live up to it all the time, but it's something I aim for, and I certainly feel that I put a lot more effort into it as well, and I aim to be an amazing boyfriend or partner as well. And I think people can testify to that in the past. I'm pretty confident about that. I'm always like trying to help people, make them the best version, or help them be the best versions of themselves, and ultimately stop themselves from beating themselves up. Make them their own best friends. I'd say like I'm a guy, who likes to like look for like deeper, enriching experiences, and that sounds all wishy-washy and stuff like that. But like traveling, like I love to travel, and I really like more kind of unique things in life where rather than like what society is saying is fun, like clubbing or anything like that. I am a person who knows what I want, knows what I enjoy, and that's spending time with my friends or my loved ones. And doesn't have to be these big monumentous moments. It can be the small little things which you end up remembering. I say I'm a very passionate person. I have, I think, a lot of areas of interest, and it's a point of pride for me. No, not a point of pride, a point of something that I value dearly. That being passionate about things, it just brings like a new essence to life. Like I see people who will just kind of work and will just kind of hang out with friends and then that's it, and they just don't seem to be like passionate about things like I'm passionate about like so many areas. Like let's just say like space. Like it really fascinates me, like the idea that we could be living on a different planet, what colonization efforts look like, and also humanity pushing beyond its boundaries into the unknown. It's super cool, and to just get that excited. And when you just see people who are passionate, they have a little glint in their eye, and they live life on like a whole new level of enjoyment. Then I think people who are just lack that, kind of who just have very mundane, rudimentary things. They live life not really to the fullest. It's just kind of like to a mediocrity, right? I'd say like part of me being sensitive has kind of made me like a deeper thinker. I like to think on many things, like deeper thoughts, but also I've learned in the past that sensitive and that kind of deeper thinking would be overthinking, and it would cause me to kind of have lots of self-doubt and stuff like that. Like all of this stuff and all who I am now is profoundly different to what I was as a teenager. As a teenager, I was very shy and self-conscious and modest, didn't really have a sense of self, was very judgmental. I saw things in black and white, and I really had to kind of go through a questioning. And Dan will know this, from how instrumental it's been for me, but also Naruto as well, how that opened my mind and made me more self-aware and made me want to improve myself and set like my aims of like who's Sam gonna be. And the things that I've listed obviously are things that I worked towards, like confidence. It didn't come like and being able to kind of be my own best friend and being able to like become have some self-belief. Like that took time, and it's because I set those things as aims that I worked towards them, and like when I'm feeling anxious about something, I'm like, no, Sam is a confident person, and every time we face an anxious situation, it's never as bad as it seems. Let's just push through it. And that always guides me. It's just like Sam's a person who pushes his boundaries, You know, it really helps drive you on. It's like it's your own kind of, like, your philosophy. Even when your mind doubts it, you're like, I have my rule book here, which I've agreed to and I've set to, and I'm a confident person. I'm going to push through this because that's who I am. You know, that is the belief in myself that I have, even though my thoughts right now are not reflecting it. It's almost like I've done it so much that it's automatic. You know, it's like, you know, when you go to the gym after a month or so, and it becomes a routine, and you don't really need to think about, oh, do I need to get up this morning? You just get up, you know. And it's the same once you know who you are. When you're in a certain situation, you're like, no, I'm confident, I'm pushing through this. There's not this deliberation that goes on in your mind, you know, and you're like, I know what I should do. And if you did the things that you know you should do, life within a year would be drastically different, rather than if you kind of constantly are in this position of negotiating, not negotiating with yourself, kind of debating with yourself like half an hour, self-doubt. It's not a way to live. And always, you know, it's a way you limit yourself. So I'd say, you know, to finish off my list, I'd say like I'm a positive realist. I used to be an idealist, like an optimist and idealist, and then painful situations in my life, I think, certainly kind of brought me down a couple of pegs, nearly to the point of pessimism. But I think some people don't realise that actually pessimism can be just as like idealistic as optimism, you know, because optimists see the world in a form of naivety, but pessimists almost kind of see the world in such a dark tint that they actually sometimes, you know, miss out on what the reality is actually showing, and actually it's not as bad as sometimes they think. Sometimes it's worse, but in certain areas. And ultimately, I'll say I'm a loving person. I admit, like, I need to be better at loving my family. I've placed a lot of emphasis on my friends over the years, and I've talked about that within counselling and stuff like that. And I try and love my friends to the best of my ability.
Add beans to beef.
We don't want that.
For a dish that...
Beans to beef. Sorry, just give me a second. There we go. But yeah, I just love to pour myself into people. It makes me happy. It's like my natural default. I've learned to work on myself to be the best version of myself, rather than just kind of like loving other people without loving myself, and that's kind of self-destructive. But yeah, I would say, and I just love giving to people as much as I can, and just seeing my loved ones as happy as they can be, because it makes me really happy as well. So that's what I'd say. I like who I am, you know, and above all, like all of those lists, you know, yeah, like the ones that I really will try and plug to myself always. Like, you are self-confident, you have self-belief, you know, you are caring, you're passionate, you know, you're driven, and you know what you want, you know, and you know who you are. And I think it's really important, you know, to know who you are, and to have that kind of guiding backbone to your life. And I feel like when I see people who don't really know that, they just go through life just on autopilot, and then they're just so busy kind of fulfilling the day-to-day stuff. It's very rudimentary. And then those kind of people in tandem don't really have many like hobbies or passions either. It's like, if you're in your 20s and all you're doing is just working, and that's your main focus, and it's your main stress, and it's what you're always thinking about, and then you don't have enough time in the rest of the day, so all you do is you might see some friends from time to time, not that often, and it's kind of like you'll divide amongst many friends rather than focusing on a set few. So then even those experiences don't really feel fulfilling. You end up feeling exhausted, you end up just feeling unfulfilled. And you're in there, yeah, and then you just spend obviously a lot of time at home just kind of like having to recuperate as well because it's just so exhausting. So you just generally feel unfulfilled. You know, you need to have those passions as well, like passions we had as teenagers, but in adult life we don't have enough time anymore. And so you've lost, but you just need to reallocate your time and remember what your priorities are. You need to learn how to prioritize. You know, you can't just like have like work as an excuse, because your 20s is about self-discovery. It's about finding out who you are. You know, it's one of the most important things you can do in life. It's not just for yourself, it's for all of your family and friends around you. And if you eventually end up having a family, knowing who you are, trying to work on things, trying to make yourself better, will also be so instrumental when it comes to you becoming a parent, you know? Because if you haven't done that work on yourself, and you still have all those issues, and if you're not like a well-rounded person, then you're going to have troubles with, you know, parent, and you might pass on a lot of your own issues to them as well. And also if your personality is so lacking as well, then you'll just kind of dive headlong into parenthood, and then you'll just become, I'm just a parent. And that's bad as well, because then if your personality is just a parent, you know, Sam is just a parent. And when I say just a parent, parent's a significant thing. It's probably one of the highest things on the list, but it shouldn't be the only thing on the list, you know, because your child needs to grow up to see like a role model, like someone who has their own passions, like who has their own life, their own individuality. Because if they see someone who doesn't have that, that's not really an inspiring force. And then like 9 times out of 10, when your sole focus is parenthood, you will end up like muddy cuddling the kid. Like you'll end up, you know, kind of like what's the word, suffocating it, you know, like a helicopter parent. You know, you need to have your own still things. You need to have your own personality within there, your own individuality, especially when they come of age and they leave the house. You're going to be left with, well, I'm a parent, but my kids aren't here anymore, so what am I now? And that's why it's so important to retain those passions. And, you know, I look at some of the figures in my life growing up and stuff like that, and seeing some with passions, like learning to play guitar, or, you know, language and stuff like that. Those are real points of inspiration, you know, because your parents are people that you look up to, you know, and you have to have more than just a parent. And maybe I shouldn't use just a parent, because again it makes me sound like I'm undermining, like making a parent sound significant. It is one of the most significant things, but it can't be the only thing as well. So like in your 20s, like discover your passions again, or find new passions. It rounds you out as a character, and it will make you more fulfilled. It will contribute to that question of who am I, you know, and it just make you happier as well. And then also in tandem, you will find people like some of your best friend through those shared passions, rather than if you just focus on work and then all your conversations with your friends is just talking about work. I'm sorry, but you're fucking lame. That's so lame. Just talking about work all the time. Oh, like if you're doing that, if you're just talking about work all the time and you don't really know who you are, you really have to ask yourself those questions like, wow, what am I doing? What am I doing? Because is that really making you fulfilled? Maybe work is so consuming you don't even have the time to think about that. And that's the thing. It can numb you to all of these things, external things. But yeah, passions. I mean, because yeah, for me, like my passions, I mean, priority, like for me, is my friends. You know, spending time with my close friends, not just loads of people, but a finite amount of people. And those are the moments during the week that I enjoy the most. You know. Like again, Dan, like playing Apex, you know, with you every other day, it's a real joy for me. You know, it's great to spend the time with, you know, a friend, and just to do something I love as well, and a great chance for resting as well. But yeah, I love to travel. Japan is like one of my biggest passions in terms of traveling, history. You know, the anime coming from it, which again is a massive part of the self-discovery. You know, I love to collect Japanese art, You know, I'm adding to my scroll collection. You can't really see them because they're pinned here and here and here. But yeah, like, I don't know. I love. I mean, history in general. You know, I'm big on my reading. You know, fiction, non-fiction. Been trying to get a lot more into fiction again recently because I just love, you know, a good like page turner. And also with the non-fiction as well, just kind of, you know, trying to like learn more things is always, you know, a really enriching experience. I love my tennis, I love my fitness. I said with the gym recently, getting back in tennis again, and it's just that great for that mental health as well, where you just play something, and all you're doing is you're focusing just on that. It's like an escape from the continual thinking, and it's a skill that I've kind of honed and, you know, gotten better at and trying to continue to get better at, and now I've made friends out of it to socialize. You know, just started a couple of weeks ago, and now I've met more people within my local area than I've met like the entire 2 years living here just from tennis. You know, I like my music, as you can tell. Like, just, well, I'm playing music and be like, oh wow, everyone likes music, but I don't know, I just like anything. I like any music. Kind of, I feel like I'm always listening to music, like when I'm walking on the road, whatever. You know, I just love it, and just love to listen to like the more old school music. Any kind of type, really. Like, really been loving the discovery into Afro beats in the last couple of years, like reggaeton. You know, I want to do some more dancing with salsa. You know, yeah. So like, you know, I like my gaming. I like my content creation, like with my streaming, but even like this as well, like just a chance to create something. It's just a little passion, a little hobby. It gives me a little purpose to do those things. It's nice. And yeah, like, I love my philosophy, my politics, my psychology, just thinking about, you know, what makes humans tick and how we behave in certain situations and what ideals we should be pursuing, and just like life in general, like thinking about life in general and how to, you know, make it less stressful, make it more easygoing, make it more enjoyable. Don't let it weigh you down so much. And, you know, also people think, oh, overthinking can be kind of burdensome, but if you like kind of think in a very succinct way, it can be really releasing. Like, I felt so much more at peace in the last couple of years, like being able to think about things and kind of come to decisions, and when I'm in a certain situation I just have the conviction, and it liberates you from those kind of doubts and the spiral thinking, and from rubbish moments. And I just, with all that thing as well, I just like to help people. I like to see people, you know, happy. I like to see my best friends happier, you know, and try and, like, you know, alleviate this suffering in their certain situations as of when I can. It's just a passion of mine. So yeah, like, I'm really glad that, you know, without kind of blowing my own trumpet, I'm really glad that I know who I am, what defines me, what I would hope some of my friends would say are characteristics that are associated with me, and also my passions as well, you know, because when I meet people, it's just a more well-rounded individual, and it just makes life way more fulfilling. It adds colour, because if not, and you don't even thought about things, chances are is work has numbed you so that you don't even think about it. And then you'll get into your like 30s and 40s and you'll be like, oh, and you'll just not really feel that fulfillment. So really, like, write down at least 5 of, like, who are you? What are your main characteristics? What defines you? You know, so when you can say, no, Sam is someone who is confident, who has the self-belief, you know, who is caring, and who's driven, and he has his passions which he must try and uphold, you know. And I ask you to do the same as well. And I'll be coming back, Sam, to this video and making sure that you've kind of adhered to this. Like, I want to add guitar to that. Like, it was a passion which, you know, was waned a bit, but I want to get back to it, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. It'll be something for you, future Sam, to make sure that you are holding yourself account to. These are all things which you also hold yourself account to, and making sure that you continue to try and live the most enriching life you can possibly live for yourself, and for your others, for your loved ones. Hope you guys have a good day, a beautiful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.